Okay, I need red voices in 3, red in 2, red in 1, red in 0. Earlier class we talked about the garden. Ethan gave us a lot of different things that are in the garden. Parsnips, lettuce, carrots. Anything else?
Colored beans.
Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to combine talking about that garden, and we're going to use a little math and a little something called an array to kind of figure out how we can use math in everyday kind of things. Kind of like in that garden. In that garden, I guarantee if you went there, we can use math. So we're going to kind of do that right here. Oh, well, you know, make sure we're raising our hands. Ethan, go ahead.
Beans from the garden.
You can get beans from the garden. Okay, class, go ahead and say arrays.
Arrays.
What we're going to be talking about today is strictly arrays. Arrays, class, is something that we're going to use, and we're going to make them to help us with math. Instead of me, though, giving you a definition, I'm going to give you the definition right from the book. No, we won't need anything. Thank you for asking, though. I mean, not right now. Okay, I'm going to zoom in right here. A lot of this, you'll look at this, but I only need you to concentrate on the top right now. I think that'll work for now. And if not, I'm going to read with you. There's a lot of it. This is all I need you. This is the math book's definition of what an array is. And if it doesn't quite make sense to you, we'll kind of give it to you in our words. Okay, on 3 class, I want you to go. Actually, I'm going to read it first. Thank you, Alvin, for paying close attention right now. No, you're going to be our extra helper today. Okay, an array class is a model for multiplication. A model for what? Who can raise their hand and tell me, because this is important. Because it's for a certain type of math problem. Johnny? Multiplication. And we talked about yesterday, we talked a little bit about when we were adding. When we were adding and how... We can do that. We talked about yesterday how when we were adding equals, how it was kind of a little hint, a little key into multiplication. Well, this jumps right to it. Not right now. Thank you for asking, Alan. It's fine. The next sentence says, this tells you exactly what it is. Okay, well, it's a model for multiplication. That doesn't really tell us too much. There could be 100 types of models. Well, this tells us a little more. It is a grid of equal rows and equal columns. Remember yesterday when we talked about adding equals? Thumbs up if you remember that. And I told you, this is kind of like multiplication. They're kind of getting you there. Well, that's exactly what this is, because when you do multiplication, it has to be equal. If you don't have equal groups, it's not quite going to work for multiplication. You can add different numbers, but if groups aren't equal, it's not quite a multiplication problem. And this is going to show you, okay, it's a grid, it's a model. What does that mean? Well, this picture right here is going to show you. If you look at this picture, it's a grid. Now it's equal. Let's see if it's equal. There's 4 across. If there's 4 across on the top row, how much has to be across on the next row?
4.
And the next row?
4.
And the next one?
4.
And the next one?
4.
Okay, thumbs up if those are equal. Equal rows
There's another
and equal columns. Christopher, you're fine right there. You don't have to worry about the trash. Thank you, though. We can do that job later. And if you look at it the other way, okay, so class right here, go ahead and repeat after me. 5 rows of 4. Now look, with multiplication, just like adding, if you can hear me clap once, if you can hear me clap twice, I can see a lot of you thinking, but make sure the thinking doesn't turn into interruptions. And I will go over some questions. Notice in multiplication class, you can mix the numbers. Jamie, are you ready? You can mix the numbers in multiplication, just like when you're doing an addition. So we can just switch it. All they did here was they laid it, turned it on its side, and now it looks different. The class, it's really not. Don't let them fool you. It's the exact same thing. Look, now we have 5 across, 5 across, 5 across, 5 across. In class, repeat after me. 4 rows with 5. Well, if 5 rows with 4 equals 20, then 4 rows with 5 must equal 20. It's the same thing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how we can do these using something, making these arrays to help us. I'll let you know, Tammy. Okay, can I have Tammy? Can you read our objective for us the first time? This is class. Our objective is what is the point of this? Why are we doing these arrays? When we're done with this, what do we hope? What do we hope will happen? Tammy, go ahead with a big loud voice.
We will use arrays to solve multiplication problems.
Okay. Can I have somebody else? Thank you, Tammy. No, that's fine. You're right here, Tammy. You're fine right there, Tammy. Okay, Samantha, can you repeat that one more time? Arrays to solve. What kind of problems? Multiplication problems. Class, let's say it as a class. 1, 2, 3. We will use arrays to solve multiplication problems. And remember how I talked about the garden? We're going to make that connection right now. If you can hear me clap once, if you can hear me clap twice, we're going to make that connection right now. I'm going to pick one of these. Ethan, is that right? You said there's lettuce in the garden? Okay, so say we went to the garden. Oh, I'm waiting for voices to be off. Class, this is really important. So I need to make sure. If you can hear me, hands right here. If you can hear me, eyes are right here. If you can hear me, I hear some noises coming from over here. Let's make sure we're not missing anything. Okay. If we have rows, so I'm going to go ahead and make kind of like an array right now. If we have 3 rows of 4, and we're talking about, you said lettuce, correct? They have lettuce?
No,
Can we also right now I'm going to if we have 3 rows of 4, I'm going to make that right now. This is going to be my lettuce. This is going to signify my lettuce. Lettuce is good. Okay, class, if you like lettuce, that's great, but we're not going to let that interfere with the math right now. Make sure we're focused on the learning right now. Okay, class. Thank you, Sebastian. I love the way Dylan is paying attention right now, and Johnny, and Crystal, and Bennett, thank you. Class, right now, I have, show me with your fingers, how many rows do I have right now?
4.
How many rows? I have 4 of them, but how many rows do I have?
5.
Let's count them. All right, now I have 4 lettuce, but I only have 1 of them. It says I need 3 rows, so I'm going to make another row.
And then another row. And then another row. Only 4.
With your fingers, show me how many rows I have now. Do I have 1 row? Do I have 2 rows? Do I have 3 rows? Do I have 4 rows? I see a lot of 2s. Correct. Am I done?
No.
I need how many more? I need 1 more row. So what we're going to do is we're going to make arrays to see how we would solve something like this. We're going to make arrays to see how we would solve something like this. And I'm going to need help from this. Not a person from this overhead right here. I'm going to show you some arrays. And I already made one for you right here. And this first one, I gave you the array, and I even told you what the multiplication problem is. So for instance, this one right here, notice, it goes 2 across, and it goes down, how many? 3. So this is 2 ways to say it, class. You can either say it's 2 rows of 3, or it's 3 rows of 2. So this could be, class, if you can hear me clap once, this could be 2 times 3, or this could be 3 times 2. I could try to figure it out in my head, but you know the easiest, what makes arrays so great and excellent, is that if you make it, all you need to do is count them. So I'm going to go ahead and count them. Class, let's count the sections together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you think that might be my answer?
3 plus 3 is 6.
You're most definitely right. So 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 2 has to equal what?
6.
6.
It's like
Bennett, kind of, yeah. Like when you're adding and subtracting? What's that tell me? Bennett, that's a great connection.
I'm not really doing anything.
Bennett, can you go ahead and raise your hand and repeat that again? Class?
Yes.
Bennett made what I love to hear. He made a connection. When you're doing some math or reading or anything, it's always great to make connections. Could I have group F right now? Kayla? He's fine right now. Kayla, Bennett's going to repeat something. Bennett, can you tell us what that was again? It's kind of like fact families. Yeah, if it works one way, it works the other way too. Okay, class, for this one, I did not give you the multiplication problem. So, gonna give you a little time.
2 minus 2 is
Gonna give you a little time. When you think, I know how many rows there are, go ahead and put your hand here.
It equals 5.
And remember, there is 2 different ways to do it. 1 second. Christopher, do you know how many rows are in that one?
What, that one?
Ethan, got me.
2.
Christopher, go ahead. 2. Class, raise your hand if you said 2. You could go 2, so Christopher, if there's 2 rows, so you went this way, how there's 1 row, 2 rows. How many are we going to go here?
2, 4, 6.
Well, we're kind of jumping ahead. We're skip counting, which you did do with the map yesterday. Here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So class, this is 2 times 5. Before we solve it though, kind of like Bennett said, kind of like a fact family. If it's 2 times 5, what's the other way that we can say it? Oh, with the hand raised. Okay, on 3 we're going to whisper it. 1, 2. Now, should I just guess and try to do it in my head? 5 times 2. Oh, 5 times 2. Or what would be the easier way since I have an array here? Dylan, what would be the easiest way to solve this? Count them. Can we count them together? Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
2 times 5 equals?
10.
5 times 2 equals? 10. Okay, class, what I'm going to do is, can I have my paper passers, my paper managers, go ahead and come up to me? If that's your job, can you quietly come up to me? I'm going to grab a marker because you can see it more clearly. I'm going to have you grab a crayon because it's going to be easier to use. Okay, boys and girls, what I'm going to do, class, is I'm going to go ahead and put an array up here. The first one we will do together. We might even do the second one together, but after that, I will just draw an array, and I'll have you tell me what's the multiplication problem, or I'll go the other way around.
Can I draw an array on the board?
No, you're over here, Tammy. Corey, I'm not sure why we're having to see that.
I was getting that foot.
Okay. So for this first one, class, go ahead and draw one that looks like this. I'm not going to say any numbers though, but look at it closely. Look at it
Are we
closely.
doing it with crayons?
Yeah. Oh, class, I would suggest not to use a yellow crayon. If you have yellow, it'll be hard to see. I don't see any yellow, but if you do have a yellow,
I have a yellow color. Not yellow.
boys and girls, right now your job, class, is to draw this. If you have a really important question, you can raise your hand. But I think that's our job right now. I like the way Leo's doing his job right now. Class.
Yes.
Now I'm seeing some people. I know sometimes you see and say, I know what he's gonna ask next. Let's not jump there yet. I'd like to get us through this one together. Class, right now we're making this a little too complicated. I just saw Christopher. We're making this a little complicated. Right now I just need you to draw this. Now what I'm going to have you do now is please, let's go ahead and count together how many rows, how many columns. Jamie, if you don't like it, you can turn it around. It's fine.